أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين اللهم انصر أولياءك من مشارق الأرض ومغاربها اللهم انصر على عدوك وعدو منك على كل شيء قدير اللهم فرج عنا ونخواننا في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها اللهم نفس كربنا وكربهم وثبت أقدامنا وأقدامهم والطف بنا وبهم يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين وصلي وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. Okay, so continuing with our reading of Allama Iqbal's Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam. We stopped somewhere here. I'll now try to reach the primacy of life. He meant to prove primacy of life and thought by another route, and carry you a step further in our examination of experience, human experience. So far, in last few pages, what he has been trying to do is to trying to show the limit of mechanistic conception of science. And what he's trying to show is that life and thought cannot be understood, let's say solely, fully on the basis of mechanistic conception of cause and effect. That's what he has been trying to show, trying to prove. Now he's saying I'm going to do the same through another means, on another route, and that is through let's see what's that route is. This will throw some further light on the primacy of life and will also give us an insight into the nature of life as a psychic activity. So life is, then again, this is very Hegelian. Keep saying that. Psychic activity, like it's a subjectivity. So Geist is a subject, in a way. So we have seen that Professor Whitehead described the universe not as something static, not something complete, but a structure of events possessing the character of continuous creative flow. So that's what the universe is. For Allama Iqbal, it's an event which is continuous, it's happening, kun fayakun, a creative flow. Now it's not entirely clear what creative flow is, because if life is a psychic activity, that psyche is creating. But in a Hegelian system, obviously there's no creation, it's self-revelation in a way, or self-realization. So there's no creative flow in either Hegelian system or Aristotelian system in that sense. So even though he's appropriating Hegelian Aristotelian system, that's why he will go to other, like to Bergson and other and here to Whitehead. I'm not sure whether there's a conception of creation in Whitehead or Bergson. But creative flow is an important concept in Al Iqbal's prose as well as in his poetry. And although it's not clear what he means by them, because if he is characterizing or describing Hegelian self-realization or self-expression in terms of creative flow, then obviously that's not necessarily a creative flow in Islamic terms anyway. Okay, so what's this? So he's talking about the Qur'an now. So that is another route. The quality of nature's passage in time. So he's talking about life and thought, and he's talking about nature. So these things are obviously interconnected, if not different faces of the same coin. The quality of nature's passage in time is perhaps the most significant aspect of experience. Whose experience? A very vague term in Iqbal. In here, anyway. So there's a psychic activities, there's experience. It's our experience or experience of that psyche, and our psyche as part of that psyche. Anyway, experience which the Quran especially emphasizes, and which, as I hope to be able to show to the in the sequel, offer the best clue to the ultimate nature of reality. Haqaiq al-ashya kama hiya, or thing in itself, or whatever you want to call it. The best route is through what? The quality of nature, specimen time, the most significant aspect of experience, which Quran especially, which I hope to be able to show in the sequel, offer the best clue to the ultimate reality. So the reality is something continuous. It's being it's a creative flow. Okay, that's what, and that is best shown or discovered through the experience of through the observation of nature passage in time. All these terms remain undefined, really. To some of the verses which he quoted in the first lecture, and we saw that at times he really not only misunderstands them but mischaracterizes them, which is in a way shocking. To some of the verses bearing on the point I have already drawn your attention to. In view of the great important subject, I'll add a few more. Okay. So what are all these ayats showing? First is ayah 6 of the Surah 10. So the first verse he is quoting is the verse number 6 of Surah Yunus, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن في اختلاف الليل والنهار وما خلق الله في السماوات والأرض لآيات لقوم يتقون. Verily, in the alternations, the changes of night and day, the passage of nature, and in all that God hath created in the heavens and the earth are signs. Ayat. Liqawmi ya'lamun, those who fear him. Another Pickthall's translation is, "Lo, in the difference of day and night, and all that Allah hath created in the heavens and the earth are portents," that is sign, "verily for folk who ward off evil," people who stay away from evil. The fear is not taqwa as such. Fear is the means for taqwa. Taqwa is to keep away from the basically wrong doings and wrong paths. Yusuf Ali's translation is, "Verily, in the alternation of the night and the day, and in all that Allah hath created in the heavens and the earth are signs for those who fear Him." Okay, so that's the first ayah he quoted. And the next ayah is ayah from Surah 25, ayah 62. So the second ayah is, وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ خِلْفَةً لِمَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَذَّكَّرَ وَأَرَادَ شُكُورًا. And it is He, so this is Surah Furqan, ayah 62. "And it is He who hath ordained the night and day to succeed one another for those who desire to think of God." And it is He who hath ordained the night and day to succeed one another for those who desire to think on God or desire to be thankful. Pickthall's translation is, "And it is who hath appointed night and day in succession for him who desires to remember or desires thankfulness." Same translation. Yusuf Ali's translation is, "And it is He who made the night and day to follow each other for such as have the will to celebrate His praises or to show their gratitude." Okay, so that's the second ayah which he quotes, Surah Al-Furqan. And the third one, so the third ayah is from Surah Luqman, ayah number 29. "Alam tara anna Allah yuliju al-layla fi an-nahari wa yuliju an-nahara fi al-layli wasakhkhara ash-shamsa wal-qamara kullun yajri ila ajalin musamman wa anna Allah bima ta'maluna khabir." So Allama Iqbal, "Seest thou not that God causeth the night to come in upon the day, and the day to come in upon the night, and He hath subjected the sun and moon to laws by which each speedeth along to an appointed goal." Pickthall's translation, "Hast thou not seen how Allah causeth the night to pass into the day?" So that's walaja yalaju, not to pass into the day, and causeth the day to pass into the night. His translation is more literal. "And has subdued the sun and the moon to do their work." Each running onto an appointed term. Kullun yajri ila ajalin musamma. There's no laws here. Each has subdued the sun and moon to do their work, each running onto an appointed time. And Allah is informed of what ye do. So those are being presented as sign that Allah knows what you do. Yusuf Ali's translation is, "Seest thou not that Allah merges night into day, and He merges day into night, that He has subjected the sun and the moon to His law, each running its course for a time appointed, and that Allah is well acquainted with all that ye do. Okay, so this is the third ayah he quotes, and then there's a fourth one. This one, the ayah number 5, he has quoted only part of the ayah, so I'll just read the whole ayah. خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق يكبر الليل على النهار ويكبر النهار على الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى ألا هو العزيز الغفار. So this is a partial translation. Obviously, it is of him that night and night that it is of him that the night returneth on the day. It is of him that the night returneth on the day, and that the day returneth on the night. Pectal's translation is, he hath created the heavens and the earth with truth, al-haq. He maketh night to succeed day, and he maketh day to succeed night, and he constraineth the sun and the moon to give service. Each running on for an appointed term. Is not he the mighty, the forgiver? Surah Zumar. So it's not even, it's very truncated translation. Obviously, he's truncated the ayah from the start as well as at the end. So he has basically done that. يكبر الليل على النهار ويكبر النهار على الليل. That's the only thing he has translated. So in the which according to Pectal is, he maketh night to succeed day, and he maketh day to succeed night. And Yusuf Ali's translation is more literal. He makes the night overlap the day, and the day kavvara, you cover takveer, and the day to overlap the night. It's takveer mean folding, the way you do your amama, and that's takveer. So it's a layered folding. He translated he translates it as, it is of him that the night returneth on the day, and the day returneth on the night. His translation is not clear. And the last one is ayah of Surah 23, ayah 80. That's Surah 23, ayah. That's also partially quoted, the ayah translation. وَهُوَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ وَلَهُ اخْتِلَافُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ فَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. He says, and of him is the change of the night and of the day. It's وَلَهُ, not of him. And also, it's a truncated translation. So the full one is وَهُوَ الَّذِي يُحْيِي وَيُمِيتُ وَلَهُ اخْتِلَافُ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ فَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. Pictal's translation is, and he is who giveth life and causeth death, and he is the difference of night and day. Have ye then no sense? Yusuf Ali's translation is more literal. It is he who giveth life and death, and to him is due the alternation of night and day. Will ye then understand? He said, and of him is the change. I guess, close. But anyway, what is he trying to do by quoting these verses? Trying to show that nature, according to Quran, the time is important. So because in all these ayats, the alternation of day and night, and experience is important because God is asking you to observe that. I mean, at least implicitly in these ayats. That shows give us the best clue to the ultimate reality, that it is something which is not static, it is continuous, it is creative. So it can't be understood or fully understood according to the mechanistic conception of. So nature is more like like life rather than like a car. So there is another set of verses which indicating the relativity of reckoning of time. What does relativity mean? It is relative to suggests the possibility of unknown levels of consciousness, meaning that there's human consciousness, but everything else in the universe also has consciousness. So you can't treat those things or can't reduce them to mechanistic conception of cause and effect. Can't fully understand on the basis of mechanistic conception, because everything has some sort of consciousness, from stone to the birds to the plants, which is actually true. أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء كما قال. That's Surah Fussilat, ayat 21. وَقَالُوا لِجُلُودِهِمْ. That's the day of judgment. But وَقَالُوا لِجُلُودِهِمْ لِمَ شَهِدتُّمْ عَلَيْنَا قَالُوا أَنطَقَنَا اللَّهُ الَّذِي أَنطَقَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ خَلَقَكُمْ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. And they will say to their skins, why do you testify against us? They will say, that the skin will say, Allah has caused us to speak as He causes all things to speak, and He created you the first time, and to Him you are made to return. So, and other verses of Quran indicate that there is some sort of consciousness in everything, because nutq is not just speech in Arabic, but it's also consciousness. But I will content myself with a discussion of the familiar yet deeply significant aspects of experience alluded to in the experience. Again, experience. What experience? Alluded to in the verses quoted above. Among the representatives of contemporary thought, Bergson is the only thinker who has made a keen study of the phenomenon of duration in time, because these ayats sort of allude to duration in time. Anyway, we'll stop here and we'll continue from here, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wa salli wa sallim ala sayyidina wa maulana wa shabina Muhammadin wa barik wa sallam. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi rahmatika ya arham. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin.